Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarshit Herald. I'm Director at IndiaSTEMfoundation, and welcome to STEM Talk with Leaders. So today I have with me one of the leaders from industry, Jhilmil Kochar. She is the Managing Director at CrowdStrike India. Welcome, Jhilmil, to the show, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Harold. I'm so glad I'm here today talking to everyone.
So, Jhilmil, our guests would like to know first about, the CrowdStrike as a company, what it is, what does it do, and we would also like to know more about yourself. What is your role at CrowdStrike and what you're looking at these days?
All right, sure. So, CrowdStrike is world's one of the top cybersecurity companies. We are primarily an AI-driven cybersecurity platform company, and we focus on areas like XDR. We focus on areas like cloud security and many other areas that we work on. We have been in the industry for more than 12 years now, and we are a world-renowned leader in this space. I been in the overall industry space for about what 30 years now. I mean, stopped counting the years. Been with CrowdStrike for 6 years. I joined them when we were just kicking off the India program, and I play two different roles in CrowdStrike. One is I am their overall site responsibility. I grew the team from 0 to 600 employees in India. That's one part, and overall responsible for all the operations in India. And the other part of my role is delivering products. I own some of my products that CrowdStrike delivers. As part of our recruitment and hiring strategy, we have hired a number of leaders in India, and we have a large engineering team which actually builds and delivers products out of India. So yeah, that's a short brief about CrowdStrike and me.
Wow. Cybersecurity is one of the very important areas. And personally, I've learned that subject in my master's, and I'm also very passionate and excited about it. And it's needed because, we have got lots of devices around privacy, security, all the issues are very important in order to secure ourselves and our data. Being into cybersecurity, so where do you think STEAM fits into it? So what is your favorite STEAM subject and why?
Yeah. All right. So my favorite subject, since I was a kid, has always been physics. And it so happened my dad was a physicist. He had done his PhD from IIT Kanpur in, long time back and in quantum mechanics.
Wow.
So quantum mechanics, quantum physics, those areas. And they are like jargons to a lot of people. But somehow I believe I had it in my genes. So to me, physics came easily. I mean, and I could relate to a lot of things, right? Why does the apple fall to the ground and doesn't go up? Why does a paper float in water while a coin sinks? All of these, the daily things, how to burn a piece of paper, converging the sunlight. So I used to play around with all of these, and I had a lot of information at my disposal. My dad would be teaching his students, and I would be listening. So with all of that, that really helped me to get a very good understanding about everyday things in life, how to relate the real world, what is happening to me every day to the laws of physics. And that, the simple things, how why a vehicle, when a vehicle stops, you move forward and everything. So I could get it easily, and it always resonated with me. So I guess physics has always been my love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I think it is really very important, what we as students are learning through our textbooks. We should be able to find real life applications. And India STEM Foundation uses robotics and AI as an intervention medium in order to teach students that what is the relevance. Because when I was in school, I had no clue why am I even learning this? What would be the real world application? So this is what we try to do and really encourage to hear that from you. As a company, as an industry leader, why do you think you or your colleagues are interested in STEAM education in India?
Yeah. So I think, I let me, break that question in multiple parts, right? Firstly is, why would I, as an industry leader or somebody else, be interested in this education? Because when we are trying to build our organization, we want the people with the right mindset, curiosity, the right attitude, people who are creative, are inclined towards problem solving and such skills. Now, these skills are developed, through STEM. I believe, because I myself have been, physics, chemistry, math student, and then engineering student. Because I've gone through all of that phase, I realized that love for science and technology, comes at an early age. And if you have been exposed to that and it is nurtured, your curiosity, starts from there, and then it grows as you grow in your, education and in your career. So some of these things are very foundational, and if the individuals are really make them think deeply about real world problems, how to solve challenges, and that's the kind of people we all need in our industry. And that is why, and especially in cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is an ever changing world, which means that an adversary can be it's like you create a new lock for your home, and next thing is somebody will find a better way to break that lock, right? So you have to make a smarter lock. That's exactly what cybersecurity is all about. The adversary finds new and new ways to infiltrate into your organizations, and you have to find better and better ways to prevent it. So there is a constant learning and innovation that happens in this industry. So if we don't hire people who are innovators at heart, we are never going to be successful. And
Mhm.
that, I believe, is the main reason why most of the industry leaders really, support STEM and STEAM education in the country and all over the world.
So what I understand is that we need to constantly innovate. We cannot create a perfect solution, but whatever we create, we would always need to improve it to make it better, to make it more secure. So I understand that cybersecurity is one career choice for students who are interested in STEAM. But
Mhm.
can you also suggest about other career options which students could take up
Yeah.
if they acquire these STEAM skills?
Sure, and I think almost everything under the sun, is open for STEAM students. And I can tell you, when my son was growing up, I'm just to quote an example. He wasn't sure when he was in class 10th, 10th standard, what he wants to do going forward. And I told him, since you are not clear, let's go ahead with STEAM education,
Hmm.
and once, maybe 2 to 3 years down the line, you will figure it out, and then you can diverge in any path you want.
Hmm.
So I think that's one advantage that this education gives you. In terms of, career choices, any IT sector, any and everything, whether it is finance, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it is operations, whether it is manufacturing, everything, each and everything requires STEM skills.
Hmm.
You're talking nowadays, data science, analytics, machine learning, all of them require very strong mathematical skills. ISRO has recently come into light. So, aerospace engineering is again a very, very big thing. So, you think of and not only that, look at artists. I was working for a gaming company at a point in time, and we used to hire artists because all the animations in the games, have to be done by artists. So it is like the entire STEAM education really gives you, whatever branch you are in, gives you that exposure to able to diversify into whichever field you want to. I still remember I had a student, I had a not a student, an employee who was an artist, and he used to tell me stories about why his parents didn't want him to be an artist. They wanted him to study engineering, like a lot of Indian parents too. And he fought with them to become an artist, and when we hired him and he was earning the same as any other engineer, he could proudly go and tell his parents, see, what I did is good for my career.
Absolutely.
So I think career choices, whether you talk about medical science, wherever you are going, STEM education is the foundation towards being successful in any kind of a career.
And I think that's where the A in this team comes from, that it is no longer restricted to being an engineer. But even in the fields of arts or commerce, STEAM skills are important. And one of the reasons is that, kids or the people who have got STEAM skills can become very good problem solvers. And
Yeah,
our job in the industry, in the government, or in any other area is that we should be able to quickly solve problems and come up with the solution. Hmm.
absolutely.
Right, right. So any one problem which you think isn't will be a very important STEAM challenge for students to solve. It could be a problem of today or of the future.
I think there are so many problems. I mean, I don't even know where to start. I mean, whether you want to talk about the climate change and global warming, you want to talk about the, fuel depletion problem and the need for alternate energy. You want to talk about, I mean, we just went through COVID. You talk about, eradication of life-threatening diseases. I mean, where do you start? Everywhere, there are challenges. How do you, innovate in farming? How do you ensure that the farmers are can get the maximum? We have these kind of problems. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't, and then the when it rains too much, the crops get spoiled. How do you solve these problems of the farmers who have really put in their hard work and energy and money into this? They do not go without money. So there are, I mean, you look around, and you will see problems. And
There are lots of problems, and one of the practical problems which I saw recently was, take an example of G20, how to maintain the air quality
yeah,
in Delhi
absolutely.
NCR,
Yeah.
and they were able to, be successful. They succeeded in it, but then it has to be more sustainable.
Yeah, absolutely. So, every aspect of our life has challenges, which I think with the right amount of education, a tinkering mindset, and, curiosity and wanting to solve real world problems is what is really needed to, handle these.
Absolutely. And what do you think is the misconception that is going around STEAM, which you might have heard from students or from your colleagues?
Absolutely. So, I'll tell you the misconceptions that I faced myself. When I was small, I wanted to study math. I was very interested in math, and my father told me, girls are not good in math. You cannot study math, you should study biology. And like me being me, I said, I don't care. I'm going to prove it to you that girls can study math. And I had to literally prove it to him by getting the highest score in various statics, dynamics, and other mathematical subjects. I mean, I taught my state board and various other things, but I literally needed to prove to him. So that, you call it gender bias, you call it a misconception. I have seen even today, females when they come, they have this mindset, what is it? You're going to just get married and look after your family. Why do you need to, study some art subject, study, this, study painting, study, and I have nothing wrong with painting. I am an artist myself. Study, learn to cook and all of this. All that is fine. But why not utilize the, your brain cells into doing something much more creative as well? Why not? So there is this whole thought process about, if, even after you get married, if you work, you'll have to come home on time and cook. Right, that's the mindset we all carry. So I've been trying to fight against it all my life. And, I try to, every girl that I meet, I try to bring them out of this mindset that, and I've hired hundreds of women in my career, right, in my companies, wherever I've worked. And I think women can give so much to an organization because they are very good at multitasking. They can give so much to an organization. They bring a fresh perspective, and that overall benefits the company, the products that you are building, and everything. So I think that's a misconception that in today's world we really need to forget, that there is something called a girl and who cannot do certain things.
No, absolutely. And this is one of the major problems that exist even today. And that is the reason we see very few girls in the science and engineering careers.
Yeah.
But India STEM Foundation is an organization is also focusing on STEM education for girls so that they can take up this STEM or STEAM as
Mm-hmm.
their career choice.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely true, girls could bring a totally new perspective on looking at things and making the processes more efficient and more better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So continuing with this, what is one advice which you would like to give to these STEM aspirants?
Yeah. So, what I would really want to tell them is this is your age, this is your time. Learning is the key to success. You have to learn, you have to be logical in your thought process, you have to tinker, you have to experiment, and you should not be afraid to fail. We always talk in terms of, what if I fail? What if I don't get, enough marks? What if I don't get a job? You should never be afraid to fail, because if you have not failed, you will not really understand the worth of success. And failure always teaches you. I did a startup and that startup failed. It didn't go anywhere, which is fine. But the number of things that I learned from there is of immense value to me. And that learning I carry with me, doesn't matter whether my startup was successful or not. So I think to every STEM student, all I would like to say is, be creative. The future is yours. Be curious. Look around you, look at the real world problems, and you should want to be passionate towards what you are trying to do, what you are trying to build, and find new and innovative ways of solving problems. Don't be boxed in your approach. Don't think like, the traditional ways. Just think, why can't this happen? Question. Questioning is the, start from there. Don't be, if somebody tells you this is the only way it happens, why? Question it. Maybe you will find a smarter way of doing it. So just think for yourself, develop your thinking, and the world is will be your, stage. You will be successful. There is no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And my last question to you is some words about India STEM Foundation. So you have been working with India STEM Foundation for some time, and what do you think about us?
No, I think this is a really great initiative, and there are, organizations like yours and initiatives like Atal Innovation Mission. These are the places where who are actually trying to make this awareness, in the tier two cities, in the tier three cities. By the way, I am also a mentor in Atal Innovation Mission, so I own a school where I actually go and I've taught, robotics, and they have got them to tinker with Arduino boards and all that. And I know that's a space you dealt in. So I know how critical this is for the student. When you go to a school in a village where they have never seen even a computer before. Yeah, everybody has phones, yes, but they haven't really seen a robotics kind of a lab or environment before. You should see the light in their eyes,
Hmm.
the enthusiasm with which they actually attack and, try to do and learn things. That is where I think, organizations that you and other company, other NGOs who are doing more work in this space can help, because I think it's important for not only the students but also parents of the students to understand and be inclined towards sending their children to for STEM education. If that happens, India is already growing, and I can foresee the future as how, the new generation students can take the country forward.
Excellent, Jhilmil. And I think out of the discussion today, the things I could take back with me is, and learning from you is that, we need to observe, we need to look at the challenges. At the same time, the passion in us to do something which you did by taking up mathematics, for example, challenging your father, is something which takes us forward, helps us grow, and STEAM as a career choice could help students to become problem solvers, especially the girls. They have to take a step forward and get into these careers so that we have a balance positions within a company, and that brings the whole new perspective. So thank you
Absolutely.
so much, Jhilmil, for your time. And it was really nice to have you here.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Dr.
much.
Herald. Thank you so much for having me here.